Okay. What's next?
Hi everyone, Steve here with New London News and Events. I've got something a little different today, rather than news, more of a Sunday public service educational segment. I want to talk a little bit about village finances. Village finances, and in particular the funding of street maintenance and repairs, comes up frequently in conversation. I'd like to take a few minutes to explain some of the legal details and requirements that you may not be familiar with. First off, a little background. The village fiscal functions are required to be performed in accordance with what's called the Ohio Village Uniform System of Accounting, developed by the auditor of the state. To explain it in its most basic way, it's a numeric system of codes that identify the funds, revenue codes, program department codes, and objects. It provides a standardized system across the state that indicates exactly where each revenue item came from and where each expenditure went. Title 7, Chapter 5705 of the Ohio Revised Code provides for the establishment and use of funds for all political subdivisions, which include all municipal corporations in the state of Ohio. The village's general operating funds come from the property tax, which is distributed by the Huron County Auditor, and the 1% income tax that was enacted by the village council back at least as early as 1974. The 1% is the maximum that can be enacted by village council according to state law without placing it on a public ballot. The voters have also approved an additional 0.5% to fund police and fire services. The public utilities are self-funding, as we'll discuss further in a minute. Another key factor in village finance is, unlike our representatives in Washington who have deficits spent to the tune of trillions of dollars, the village cannot spend funds it doesn't have. Again, Section 5705 of the Ohio Revised Code specifies that the village budget must be set so that expenditures from any fund do not exceed the appropriated revenue for that fund. I think another thing a lot of folks don't know is that village council can't move funds between accounts. While the council can exercise discretion on what to spend funds from the general fund on, the other funds, such as public utility funds, can only be used for their specified purpose. This is why you see water, sewer, sanitation, and storm charges itemized on your monthly utility bill. The revenue for each of these utilities can only be used for that utility, not to subsidize any other fund. The law also prohibits combining utility revenues into a single utility fund. A separate fund must be established for each utility. Again, Section 5705 of the Ohio Revised Code clearly states appropriations from each fund must be used only for the purposes for which such fund is established and shall not exceed the total of the estimated revenues available. Well, this brings us to the ever popular and sometimes touchy subject of street maintenance and repair. Streets maintenance is another fund established under the Uniform Accounting System. What it lacks is a revenue stream. A small amount comes in from the vehicle license plate tax, and what can be squeezed out of the general fund annually is barely enough to pave a few hundred feet of street. As discussed earlier, transferring funds from other utilities is specifically prohibited by law. What it comes down to is the only viable solution is a property tax levy designated for street maintenance and repair. Now, I know levies have been placed on the ballot and defeated in years past, and it remains to be seen if the village will try again to pass a levy for street repair. I'm not here today to speak for or against the levy, just hopefully give listeners a better understanding of the fiscal requirements and challenges. I'm Steve for New London News and Events. I'll be back either tomorrow evening after the council meeting or Tuesday with a full report on the first council meeting of the new year.